Welcome back to another episode of Third and Very Long. I'm your host, Rich Krinnigan, joined by my other host, Tyler. Tyler, these last few weeks have been very painful to watch. The only upside to being a Jets fan is I made money off the Jets last week against the Cardinals. I made a bet that they couldn't cover the 14.5 point spread the Cardinals were giving them, and long and behold, I made money.
You made money. It looks like you were the only successful one in this area this weekend. So, I mean, it's been tough. It's been tough to be a Jets fan. We started off this podcast saying that it could be a painful year, and guess what? We're here. It's a painful year, and it's only week 5. So, I mean, it all correlates back to the man in charge right now, and that's Adam Gase. And right now, he is not cutting it. And you know what? That's all that's in the news nowadays is Adam Gase can't do this, Adam Gase can't do that. Adam Gase is butting heads with players. Adam Gase, have you seen the stuff about Le'Veon Bell lately, about him butting heads with him?
Yeah, and honestly, I don't blame Bell. I really don't at this point. Like, Adam Gase made history. He was the only other Jets quarterback to start off the season 0-5 other than Rich Kotite. So, congratulations, Adam, on the tremendous accomplishment you did.
I understand. I mean, but it correlates. I mean, if you look at the Jets, like, they're 32nd in red zone production. That's the last in the league in red zone production. Like, that is, I mean, you look at it, it's like, obviously the Jets aren't scoring points, but why are the Jets not scoring points? Oh, is someone missing throws? Is this? No, they can't convert in the red zone. And that is, I mean, NFL's about scoring. If you can't score, you're going to be shit out of luck. And right now, Adam Gase is shit out of luck. And what I keep seeing from him is everyone in the media keeps saying, hey, open your playbook. Oh, do this, do this. And you know what? Over the past couple of weeks, I saw Adam Gase open his playbook a little bit, and that's scary. The fact that I as a common watcher, saw him open the playbook, use a couple motions, use some spread, do some hurry up, and the fact that it didn't work or nothing happened, that scares me even more. Is that he's listening to what the people are saying and critiquing him about, and he's doing it, and it's not, there's no production out of it. So that just shows to me that even as, you know what, Adam Gase, he had, like, when he came in, he had the right mentality. He said, I want football, only football, let's do football. But right now, it's showing me he's not smart enough to be a head coach. He doesn't know the game well enough to be a head coach. When Peyton Manning was there, Peyton Manning helped him through it. They guided him through being a good offensive mind. Once those wheels fell off, the training wheels fell off, Adam Gase is looking at a pretty dead road of creativity, which stinks as a Jet fan. But we know that now. I was always a huge Adam Gase advocate. Give him a shot. Give him a shot. You know what? The Jets gave him a shot this year. They put it in front of his face, and he continues to drive it into the ground, and that stinks. But, I mean, when you have a 30-second in the red zone and when you're top 3 in penalties conceived this year, which is another stat the Jets are great in, is penalties. That's direct correlation with coaching. And I mean, you saw it there. I mean, the Broncos game right away.
Oh my God!
What is Adam Gase doing putting a hurt Sam Darnold back in the game?
What was he doing putting in like Mekhi Becton? He had shoulder problems the whole week, and they're like, oh, he'll be situational. He was out there from the first snap, and then he re-aggravated that shoulder injury, and now he was out too.
Well, Chuma Aduga started that game, and they said, like you said, Becton's just going to be a situation. What is that? What is that? That doesn't make sense. Maybe for a veteran that is trying to push through, trying to make a contract. No. You don't put your prize left tackle in situational game plan. You don't do that. You sit him for the week. You sign a guy that's capable of playing at 100%, and obviously it didn't correlate.
Yeah,
because
McDermott was surely not the
McDermott.
answer.
I mean, at that point, you're asking. So Adoga started the game. He unfortunately got hurt. So what do? You go to hurt Becton, and then you go back to a McDermott. What kind of sense does any of that make? Zero, and that's straight from the coaching, and that's upsetting.
And I'm like that game. I won't. We talk about Pierre Desir a couple times. I won't even give him credit for those 2 interceptions he had. One he brought back to the house. Like if you look at those plays, what's the kid's name? Ripon.
Oh, Ripon, yeah.
Yeah, he threw the one pass, and like I was like scratching my head. Of course, he undrafted free agent. No one knew who he was coming
Basically. I mean, I tagged the Thursday night game as the battle of the ugly. I mean,
Yeah.
it really was. I mean, this is the difference I see with like the Jets and an organization like the Broncos is if you can pinpoint one player from that game, that Thursday night game, that on both sides of the ball, that had a great game, that literally changed the momentum, it changed the whole part of the game.
Pierre Desir.
Well, Pierre Desir on the Jets, which is that's situational. When it comes to corner, the thing about Pierre Desir is like, no matter what, no matter any corner, no matter who's playing on the field, they're gonna get burned, but they're gonna make good plays. That's the problem with a corner in the NFL is like you're gonna have really, really good, but really, really bad. And you saw both of those in that game from Pierre Desir. Jerry Jeudy off the rip mossed him, and that was it. And they were like, oh, Pierre Desir, sit on the bench. I don't want to see your face again for the season. And then he comes back as his interceptions, and you're like, wait a second. But that's the nature of cornerback. But when you look at the game tape, and I watched it over again, Bradley Chubb on the Broncos being the only talented player on both sides of the ball, I mean, like on the Jets defense compared to the Broncos defense, he was the only guy on the field with star-studded talent, and you could see he made a difference. He had, 3, 4, 5 sacks? Like, that, you could tell, like, he was the biggest issue for the New York Jets. It's just one guy. And you know what? It circles back to the Jets never having remotely the guy that can make some noise in the pass rush. You look at Jordan Jenkins, who's obviously more geared towards the run, and he can rush the passer, but Jordan Jenkins isn't Bradley Chubb. He doesn't have that pass rushing ability. And that's what caused the Jets to stink more than the Broncos, who also stink. So for me, seeing Bradley Chubb kind of being elite in a ugly situation, it shows me like that's the type of thing the Jets need. The Jets, we circle back to this almost, I think, every podcast about how the Jets have no pass rush. And this just circles it right back to it, the fact that the Jets have no pass rush. And it makes me upset.
Yeah, it's definitely disappointing. I like the one hit that Sam got the shoulder injury on when he got slammed into the ground. I was like that.
Did you think it should have been a penalty?
I honestly, at this point, I don't know anymore because...
No. I mean, genuinely, I didn't think it was a penalty. I mean, he kind of did launch, but there was no malicious intention. I mean,
no.
Realistically, it was an unlucky hit. Mm-hmm. But then again, you're like, Adam Gase, what are you doing putting this kid back in? I mean, I understand from an injury perspective, there's many times where my shoulder's blown out and I just play on adrenaline and I get through the day. That happens. But when it's your franchise quarterback, I don't care what adrenaline, I don't care what it is, he's sitting on the bench, and that's it.
Maybe it'll be easier for him to be the big quarterback whisperer, and he can whisper, like, maybe Sam will actually hear him on the sideline now, because he's been, like, mumbling. I don't know,
Gase lost it, man. I mean, you see it this week in the interviews, he talked about giving up the play calling. So he's already just, like...
accepting
it, but that shows its direct correlation to the field play. Why would anybody want to stick their nose out for Adam Gase? Why would Chris Hogan has a sprained ankle? Guess what? On a team where they needed him, which the Jets do need someone like Chris Hogan, he's probably playing through a sprained ankle for a different coach, a coach he wants to play for. I mean, all these guys are injured. The Jets are injured. I mean, but the whole NFL's injured. But these guys, I mean, I see Devontae Parker, pulled hamstring, trying his best to work through a game for Brian Flores. No one would ever do that for Adam Gase, and that's troubling. But we know what Adam Gase is at this point, which is unsettling. But I mean, it puts us right in front. You know, it tells us exactly what we want.
You know, it was funny too. I remember when the Titans were in the playoffs last year, Ryan Tannehill went that great run with the Titans. Mm-hmm. People were like, oh, look what Ryan Tannehill's doing, and he worked with Gase. But that's the thing. He's not with Gase anymore, and he does that.
Yeah, I know. But, I mean, the weird thing about Ryan Tannehill in Miami and Adam Gase is he was playing out of his mind with Adam Gase for like 6 weeks, or whatever, 4 or 5 weeks, playing legit out of his mind. Mm-hmm. And then he got hurt, and then that was it. So... That was a little weird for me, but I mean, you talk about Ryan Tannehill, and well, we're gonna see him probably tonight play. But,
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. It's one of those things where like as a coach, you have to have these guys rally behind you, and no one's rallying behind Gase.
No, they all want to get traded.
They all want to get traded, but I mean I don't see them rallying around Greg Williams anymore. Greg Williams, no offense, but the tackling on the New York Jets is bottom line abysmal. Like it's frustrating to see some of these guys attempt to make a tackle. I don't know if it had to do with OTAs and not having this and not having preseason. Like I get that could be but it doesn't matter. Like after the first week of you not tackling, guess what? You're hitting each other at practice until you figure it the hell out, you know? So from Greg Williams' perspective, why should Tim Patrick be getting 113 yards receiving? Tim Patrick? Have you heard of Tim Patrick before Thursday night?
No.
No, exactly. So, I mean, this is all correlates to, obviously, Adam Gase, but a lot to Greg Williams, too. Someone that we thought would be some sort of maybe a staple point in the future, even if that, you know? But it's not looking like these guys are rallying behind that. And you know what? It shows. I mean, in Cleveland and stuff, like, they stopped rallying behind. I mean, they did rally, but towards the end of the season, the Browns fizzled out, even with him being at the helm. Like, I think it's Greg Williams' thing. I think it's just his players stop buying into his system, and then they start getting penalties. This, that, you know? So I think it directly correlates. But, I mean, these injuries, we have them. Everybody has them. But the way we're dealing with them is what's really upsetting me.
Yeah, like our whole practice squad starting.
It's actually like, I mean, Jeff Smith remember I talked about Jeff Smith?
Yeah, the first episode we did. Yeah, you mentioned Jeff Smith.
And guess what?
Yeah.
Jeff Smith is our number one receiver.
Mm-hmm.
And you're like, he played quarterback at Boston College. What does that tell you? I mean, but these guys got to step up, and someone who didn't step up, Mr. Joe Flacco. What did you think of Joe Flacco's performance against the Cardinals?
For not playing or like not starting in God knows how many years. All right. Well, he played with the Broncos like a couple.
I think so.
Games,
He played like a couple
and
games.
then he lost a job to Drew Lock. For a backup quarterback perspective, I think he handled himself well, and against a Cardinals defense that does have a lot of promise and a lot of playmakers on the other side of the ball, and dealing with a pass rusher like Chandler Jones, and when our offensive line looks like Swiss cheese, I think he did pretty well for what he was given.
I thought he actually looked a little bit more mobile than he was. He looked like he could move or something. But I mean, it didn't. I'm firm believer Joe Flacco murdered the Jets on Sunday. It's like he totally sucked all the energy out of the Jets, because if you watch the first 3 drives, Joe Flacco misses everybody.
Mm-hmm.
But the dude hasn't played in 3 years. It's understandable.
And he's pushing 36
He's
this
pushing
year.
36. Like, Adam Gase didn't announce he was starting until freaking, Wednesday or Thursday? So he basically gave this guy 2 days to prepare, and then, of course, Joe Flacco's going to come out and miss. He missed a wide open Jeff Smith at the beginning of the game that would have made the whole game change completely. Jeff Smith was wide open. He threw it behind him, and that play was that. Like, the screen showed, and there was not a single red jersey even in the picture, and Jeff Smith was like sitting there like pissed off because he dropped the ball. I mean, Joe Flacco, as much as I respect it, I thought it was a decent performance. I thought Joe Flacco was a huge killer of the day for against the Cardinals. But then I want to hear your opinion on Chris Herndon.
I don't know.
I don't know. It's literally like
I don't know.
It's baffling to me, like what's going on with that guy right now.
Like I've been watching Chris Herndon, and I start going to the draft boards and seeing the tight ends, and then I've been seeing like all these like playmaking tight ends who are particularly going in the first couple rounds. Like, damn, we have a lot of picks. I wouldn't mind getting another tight end here, or I wouldn't even be against starting what's his name? Ryan Griffin. I wouldn't even be against starting him. He did phenomenal last year.
He was amazing last year. But the thing is Herndon had an amazing camp, right? Remember we were talking about him like balling like, oh look, him and Sam got that connection back. We talked about that.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden he comes out and like
And he fizzles.
Like beyond, I've never seen like that drop against the Cardinals was like one of the worst drops I've ever seen. I think your little sister could have caught that, and
she's 11, by the way.
She's she would have done she probably could have done. She's the size of the ball. She could have probably caught it better than Chris Harden. That was utterly disgraceful, and it hurts because that's such a guy with such a great potential, and we've seen him ball in person. Like, he's a beast, and it's just he's got like the yips or something. He really does.
Yeah, and he comes from a background where like a lot of great tight ends come out of Miami.
Yeah, of course. It's upsetting, because he's such a talent, and I think like he got that DUI. Like, obviously that's gonna have some sort of like, was it a DUI or was it PD? Oh, it was PED.
Mm-hmm.
It was PD. So he got caught using PED. You never know. That could have been one of the answers. Some of these guys, hey, you need something to get the edge. And it's just, once you go down that road, it's hard to come back.
Yeah.
Only the really strong and talented ones come back from stuff like that. And he's starting to show us that he's not like that.
Yeah, it's very disappointing because when we drafted him and they were showing his highlights, I was like, oh, nice, we have a playmaker at tight end. We haven't had one of these since Dustin Keller.
Really? But we, even coming into this season, we're like, we have two solid tight ends. Ryan Griffin is probably one of the better backups in the league at tight end. No one has a backup like that. We're going in and we're like, let's do the Doug Peterson's old style 2 tight end set. Like, let's do that and let's dominate. Forget about it. I mean, but I don't blame Adam Gase for not doing that because they stink, Like, he's officially, Adam Gase, as much as we criticize him and stuff like that, like, he doesn't have that many pieces, but it doesn't matter. When your bland calling gets you nowhere, it's just going to continue to drive you down. And, I mean, I want to bring back a point about us and the Gase play calling and stuff. Did you notice the Jeff Smith, it was supposed to be a reverse throw? Did you notice that? And it was like in the third quarter. Flacco pitched it, and then it got reversed back to Jeff Smith, and it was going to be a throw, but it got blown up right away. So one of those type of plays, you're like, oh, Adam's trying to get creative. Ooh, something, a Philly something. Ooh, this, that. It's like, no,
the only people serving Philly specials last weekend was the Cowboys.
Yeah. The Cowboys, well, the Cowboys, I feel bad for Dak. I really do feel bad for Dak. That was really bad injury.
Yeah, that was a really bad injury too.
That was tough to watch.
Yeah, just seeing the replay of his ankle, like his
ankle
bone, like there. It was not good.
Yeah, not good.
And he's on a franchise tag too.
He literally he has no contract after this.
Yeah.
That sucks.
Technically, he's unemployed right now.
He still got his guarantee. Yeah, in a sense, yeah. That's bad. That's bad. I mean, you get a sense of people like Lev Bell. It's like he sat out, and now he came back. He got his bag. He got his money. So what's next for Lev Bell? Is Lev Bell getting traded? Is Lev Bell this, that? I don't know. Lev Bell, I feel like people are also, like, as much as, like, Lev Bell's this, Lev Bell's that, I think a lot of people are blowing Lev Bell out of proportion right now. Mm-hmm. I think, if you notice, like, all the reports, oh, Lev is disgruntled, Lev is this. Le'Veon Bell liked a couple tweets on Twitter, and now people are getting upset. He liked a tweet that said, oh, Le'Veon Bell was only targeted one time in the game? That's like stupid, or it's like that, like that's ridiculous. And he liked that tweet, and he liked another tweet, and he liked another tweet. So all these reporters are like, "Oh, Le'Veon Bell's disgruntled, blah blah blah," and I'm like, he liked the tweet. Like, everyone relax. It'd be different, like Lev did in the past, mm-hmm. where he said, "Oh, I'm not getting the ball, this, that, stomp, stomp, slam," which he actually did, but this time he actually didn't. And I'm sitting here, I'm like, all right, everyone take a chill. Everyone relax.
But then, like, if you're the head coach and you see that happening on Twitter, don't go and say to the media, I hate this, I just want him to come talk to me, I'm the coach. Like, if you didn't talk to him about it first, you just went up there and, like, just accused him of having, like, this unspoken grudge.
What I all Adam Gase had to go with was it's Twitter, guys. Relax. That's all he had to do is say to the media. He said he likes him. What Adam Gase should be saying to these reporters is saying, "You're really talking about a like tweet right now? You're seriously?" Be like, "I know I have to get him involved, but a like tweet has nothing to do with anything." Like, that's the way Adam Gase should be responding to these people. Not, "Oh, I should give up the play calling. Oh, everything's on the table." Oh, it's like, grow up, dude. Grow up. And freaking put your foot in the ground and say, "I'm going to fix this thing." Or continue to whimper away and you know your job is gone. You know? You did it. I mean, as much as the schedule last year was terrible towards the end of the year and we were like, "Oh, it's just a watch." He did rally these guys to do that. Why can't he do that now and end off on a good note and freaking maybe you get an offensive coordinator job in the future? Right now you're just digging yourself a hole and you're coming out, you're coming out to the media in a freaking mopey mood. Like, you're a child. Like, come on, pick it up. Come on, you're getting paid to be a head coach. Let's go.
You're 42. Act like it.
Act like it. It's seriously. And you know what? The more and more I see Adam Gase in game, it's like, what does he do? Like, you know Dole Loggins, our offensive coordinator. Why is he throwing that challenge flag on the Jamison Crowder short ball? Like, they called him short of the line. It was a critical down, and he was, like, clearly not over the line. Immediately, Dole Loggins throws out the flag. I'm like, what are you doing, dude? First of all, why does Dole Loggins have the flag? I'm pretty sure we talked about this in the past. Dole Loggins, I don't know who he is. I don't know where he's come from. I know he came from Miami. He's actually been on some pretty good teams. Like, I'm pretty sure he was also on that Peyton Manning Broncos team. Like, he's been, like, a background guy. Why is that guy throwing your challenge flag? Why are you not throwing? Why are you, "Oh, I might give up the play call"? Like, he really needs to just, like, pick it the heck up and just throw a pair of balls.
I think Gase's staff is slowly losing confidence in his leadership ability. And I think it all stems from, you know how when you apply to a job, you give them your resume, you show them your history, like what you did. When you look at his resume, his only college coaching experience, or even remotely college, he was an LSU graduate assistant and recruiter.
So was everybody.
But his next gig from that was just right to the NFL. Like, he never had to work or grind to get better at his craft. It shows that he's not really a hard worker.
If he was a hard worker, you would see spread. Like I said, remember I said a little bit. He opened the play calling a little bit. And guess what? You know what? He probably went online, looked up a couple things, got some advice. Oh, I'm gonna run pistol or not pistol. I'm gonna run spread this week. I'm gonna run empty. Maybe I'll do some motion. No. The NFL clearly is in the direction of having pre-snap motion, and we do none of it. So maybe you should, move a wide receiver across. What's so hard about you moving across a wide receiver across the field to see the coverage? He's literally to help your quarterback to find the coverage and to confuse the defense. It's only to help, and you're refusing to do it. Why? I don't know.
I don't know. And the fact, have you really seen any, when Sam wasn't, have you really seen any audibles?
No, but what I did see was Joe. See, that's what kind of confuses me is Sam Darnold never audible, like you just alluded to. But Joe Flacco audibled quite a bit against the Cardinals. Whether it was him coming out of a play, going into another play, changing that same play, he did it. Is that just Adam Gase not allowing Sam to do it? Does Sam not know how to do it? Or what's the story there? Because Sam doesn't audible. Sam rarely audibles. I watched Joe Flacco audible at least 3 times on Sunday. So I don't know what we're missing there or who's to blame for that. Obviously we know who's to blame for that, but there's some sort of disconnect there, and the Jets got to figure that out.
And another thing too, I don't know if you noticed, but every Monday at 5:30, Sam Darnold has a segment on Michael Kay show.
Listen to that.
I listen to it religiously, and for the last 3 weeks, the amount of times he said and just says I don't know to some questions.
The poor kid is lost, man. He's got no one to. He's got no direction. Do you kind of feel like that's kind of?
I think the Jets organization as a whole has stunted his growth, his potential, and his ability. I think since the injuries, the mono, not giving him more control with the audibles and all. We don't even know if he knows how to audible yet.
Yeah, true. I mean, we don't know those things, but you're right. The Jets, I would say they did stunt his growth, but the thing is Sam. I mean, you watch Sam Darnold at USC. He was pretty good, and he shows flashes. And to this day, it's Sam just showing flashes over and over. It's like that run against the Broncos. You're sitting there like, oh my god, that is beyond elite. This Lamar Jackson-esque, like seriously.
Yeah.
But then like you see him, like what is it, the second game of this season, or it might have been Buffalo. He's running out of bounds, and he runs out of bounds 4 yards past the line of scrimmage when he could have just thrown it away and just went back to the line of scrimmage. But now it's a 2nd and 14 because you decided to not throw the ball away rather than be 2nd and 10. So those type of things, you look at Sam, you're like, what is that? But that's coaching. That's him getting into the right system and the coach going, no. You throw it away. This is this. This is the way we do things. This is the way I want your footwork to do. This is that. He has none of that. It's like, it seems like Adam Gase is like, oh, okay, Payne did this, or oh, we're comfortable with this. It's not going to cut it. And the New York Jets need a new head coach.
Yeah, because now the media is starting to have speculations if the Jets can trade Sam Darnold for a first-round pick. NFL executives are saying, of course they still can.
Yeah. What have you been seeing as like the compensation for Sam Darnold?
I've been seeing like a late first-round pick.
That's outrageous. I mean,
that's coming from NFL executives. Realistically, to me, a second and probably a late round pick.
Yeah, but it's not going to go down that way.
No, it's not.
There's no way that happens. I mean, and if anything, when's the last time a quarterback? What did Josh Rosen get traded for? I think
a third round pick.
But the first time he got traded, right?
It was a third round pick.
Third round pick,
and then I think like a seventh
conditional. So I mean, but that's a guy that like has never shown anything about anything, you know. So I mean, I think you're gonna see Sam Darnold's not going anywhere. The fact is, the Jets. First of all, the Jets don't even have a first overall pick. Right now they're the 3rd overall pick. At this rate, the freaking Giants and the Falcons are headed down a dark path.
I don't know. I think the Jets at best can go 2-14.
Yeah, Miami?
Yeah.
But I think they'll still lose a game to Miami.
I know. That's like at best 2-14. If they win both games, because I don't think we're beating Buffalo.
No, we're definitely not beating
Buffalo. I don't think we're beating the Patriots.
Buffalo actually, Buffalo might make
like a run.
Oh, yeah. a fat run.
Yeah, like a fat run. Do I think they're going to get to the Super Bowl? No, because the Chiefs
I don't
are
think
still...
so. No, I don't think so because I don't think Josh Allen is nearly as good as...
You know what we need to do? We need to trade for Tyrod Taylor next offseason.
No, stop.
No, listen. It's not a serious thing, but I want you to listen. Tyrod Taylor, the last 3 years he was in Buffalo. They got Josh Allen, who's proven to be a good quarterback. Went to Cleveland. Who does Cleveland have now?
Baker, but he's not. Whatever.
But
continue.
But that's their quarterback. He goes to the Chargers now.
So I get it. little hocus pocus. Yeah. Tyrod Taylor, puncture a lung. Let him sit for the rest. Tyrod Taylor, he's in the run for a bag, a lot of money with that punctured lung thing. That's terrible. I understand what you're saying with the Tyrod Taylor. Maybe he'll bring some luck. Maybe he's just a really good teacher.
I honestly think he has the best work ethic ever. Looking into his story, people told him he should be a wide receiver coming out, and that he wasn't going to get drafted unless he changed to wide receiver, similar to Lamar Jackson. Then said, "Forget that. I'm a quarterback." There was one game that he played against in college, and I'm drawing a blank.
Where did you go to college, Tyrod?
See, this is where I'm drawing a blank. I only noticed play because it was against the number one quarterback of this same draft class. Was it Andrew Luck?
I don't remember.
I don't know. Yeah, but they lost. His team lost, but he ran out of bounds, and before he ran out of bounds, he threw a dart to the back of the end zone in double coverage and got it to only where his receiver can catch it.
I really don't have much Tyrod Taylor.
Yeah, I don't have much Tyrod Taylor either, but I watched a video recently about him. That's why I noticed. I totally blinked out on the colleges and who the quarterback he was up against.
Well, that's funny. But it brings us back to Tyrod Taylor and like we talked about like the Dolphins and stuff like that. I mean, did you see the schedule change?
I didn't until you told me.
Yeah,
today.
so the Jets now play the Dolphins next week. They changed around a couple of games. I know they moved the Chargers, I think, to week 11.
So where's our bye week now?
I think our bye week is now week 10.
Okay.
So I have to look into that more. But so next week we have the Dolphins. We're gonna have the Chargers. So that's a I guess a step back for them having Justin Herbert run down our throats.
Yeah.
I guess we got a week off. But I mean then we're going. I mean Fitzmagic is freaking hot right now. So
I know, and the Dolphins went out and made noticeable moves on their defense, especially.
There's Brian Flores is riding a good ship right now. But that's the type of guy you want. I mean,
yeah.
That's Brian Flores. Like
they
stink, and people want to freaking play for that dude. People want to win for that guy. They want to play. They want to have fun.
Yeah, he flip-flopped around, I think, on the defensive side of the ball, coaching in New England, and got that exposure to Belichick and was part of that, Belichick coaching tree. Mm-hmm. So I guess it's good to have someone coming from such a prestigious tree. But, like, what tree did Adam Gase fall out of? A banana tree? Because
I think I like bananas, so don't disrespect bananas. He's more grew up from a root than he did come from a tree. So.
Like Adam Gase was sitting under the apple tree of play calling on a 4th and 1, and an apple fell in and goes, instead of running for it or going for it, I'll kick it twice in the first quarter.
I think you're right about the sitting under an apple tree, because he sits under it. He grabs a little Peyton Manning, he bites it, he throws it away. He grabbed a little bit of this, bites it and throws it away. He doesn't take any of that knowledge he gets and uses it, because there's no way that he can't take anything away from Peyton Manning's, whatever, was it the 2015 year they won? Whatever year they won, and he had that crazy, he broke the record for passing yards, right?
Mm-hmm.
Why aren't you taking anything away from that? Take every single thing. Take that playbook that the Broncos had and rip out half of it and put it into the Jets playbook. I don't understand. Like, he's gotta get it together.
Yeah, he's playing with his greasy facial hair on the side, watching, like, I'm about to get money from this.
Yeah, exactly. So, but I mean, that correlates into who have you been looking at for next year's Mr. Replacement?
So, this is my ideal candidate.
Ideal. Number one guy that you
Number
want
one guy.
for right now. Obviously, it's going to change.
I want to say it's going to be hard to get him, because he already said before that he likes coaching in college better than football. Uh-huh. He comes from a coaching tree, the Urban Meyer coaching tree.
Interesting. Okay.
He started off in 2001 and 2002 as a quarterback coach at Bowling Green. Then 2003 to 2004, he was a quarterback coach for Utah. And that same year, their quarterback got drafted number 1 overall and goes by the name Alex Smith.
I forgot the Utah. Okay.
2003 to 2004, he was at Utah as a quarterback coach. Then 2005 to 2008, he became the offensive coordinator / quarterback coach for the Florida Gators while Urban Meyer was coaching there.
Your boy.
And, yep, the swamp, baby. And then after that 2005 to 2008 run with Urban Meyer as his offensive coordinator, he got offered a job, the head coach at Mississippi State. From Mississippi State, he took a program that was falling apart and got him back on track. He turned Dak Prescott into the player I think he is now. He takes quarterbacks that you wouldn't expect to be good coming out of nowhere, and he makes them good, because now he's the Florida Gators head coach. 2017, the year before he got offered the full-time job, the Gators were 4-7. They were the laughingstock of the SEC. They weren't good. They weren't nationally ranked, and it was appalling. His first year taking that 4-7 Gators team.
That was the 2018 year, right?
Yes. So the year before 2017, he went 4-7. His first year as the head coach, they went 10-3.
Damn.
He won the bowl game against Michigan. Following
I
year,
remember that. Yeah.
following year he went 8-3. It was still positive. He had a great record. He's like 25. He's 23-4 or 25-4 currently, right now with the Florida Gators. He's turning Kyle Trask into the next
stud.
poor man's Joe Burrow. My head coach candidate, who runs a spread offense and a 3-4 defense, loves to stretch the field. If you watch him every Saturday, every receiver, tight end, running back is getting equal reps. He knows how to spread the field. He's all about that offensive play style, but also he's a hard ass. He also fits the Jets coaching pattern because he wants 90,000 people to be at the Swamp for his next game in the middle of a pandemic. I'm talking about my guy, Dan Mullen, head coach of the Florida Gators. That's my candidate.
I like it. I really do. I mean, what's his name? Trask is freaking lights out this year. I mean, I knew he was going to be pretty good this year, but
no one knew he was going
to be this good. Yeah. Trask is like putting up numbers where like he's the net. Like it's always been like Lawrence, Fields, then that kid from North Dakota, Lane or whatever, or Trey Lance. But nowadays it's all I hear is Lawrence, Trask. I don't hear. Obviously, Big Ten football hasn't started yet, and Justin Fields has come back into that. But right now, it's been Lawrence, Trask when it comes to quarterbacks.
Exactly, and what's cool too to see is I was on CBS Sports the other day. You know how to do those mock drafts. You can't really buy into that crap.
Yeah.
We're only in October. They have Kyle Trask going late in the first round to the New Orleans Saints. So they turned a kid who was a backup, who they had to convince to do football for another year, to replace Felipe Franks, who went down with an injury last year, and he's turning around to be like he's a star in Florida.
Yeah.
Him and his tight end Pitts are just going crazy on that offense.
What year is Pitts?
Pitts is a junior, or I think he might be a junior or a senior. Okay. If he's a junior, I think he might be redshirted. Okay. But he's 6'6" and just a monster.
Yeah, he's a specimen. Yeah, I remember that.
But he's going into the draft this year too. That's the tight end who I've been.
That's who you've been looking. Yeah. I mean, that's your Gators. But no, yeah, the Florida, the program, he really turned around. It really was down in the dumps. I mean, it really people were sitting there and they're like, "Where's Florida?" Like they thought Florida was gone, and he came in and turned it back. I mean, you alluded to it. He's been around these quarterbacks for a while now, and he knows how to get the best out of them. And now he's getting the best out of what's his name?
Trask. And it's funny too because Sam Darnold came from USC, pro-style offense. Trask went in from a high school recruit. He was labeled a pro-style quarterback. Really? He was actually a 96th ranked pro-style quarterback in the nation. And the ranked he was in total nationally was 2,140 something.
Wow.
And he's doing that with him.
Wow.
And I think if we want to get away from and have a different approach to offense, I think a spread would be better because look at the people we have on it. We have Bell and all that. He's a receiving back.
True.
He could do stuff that Run CMC could probably. He did that in his prime too.
True.
When he was in Pittsburgh. I think we need to get a new change of pace on offense, a new scene. Mm-hmm. Defense was always our strong suit throughout the year, so keeping it at 3-4
definitely keeps us because that's our personnel at this point. I mean, but for head coach, what I've been looking at is you only go back a little bit. You go back to last year and you look at the perennial LSU offense and who was the man that was behind all that. It was Joe Burrow, and it was Clyde Edwards-Helaire, and Jamar Chase, and these Justin Jefferson. But the man that was getting the plays called in and that basically saved Ed Orgeron's career at LSU was Joe Brady.
Yeah.
Ed Orgeron knew he had
that gave me goosebumps. Right? I like that one. Yeah.
Ed Orgeron, last year, the only way he knew that he was going to succeed in college football is if he brought in another offensive line to blow up this offense. He knew he had talent with Joe Burrow. He always has these talented receivers. He always has a talented running back. But he needs someone to excel them, put them over that hump. And Joe Brady was just an assistant with the Saints, an offensive assistant with the Saints. Ed Orgeron pulled him off from there, gave him the offensive keys, said, listen, I'm going to be the head coach. I'm going to get us in shape. I'm going to do this. I'm going to get a game plan. You figure out the offense, blow it up. Guess what? One of the biggest, best offenses we've ever seen in college football. And guess what? He got hired right away. Matt Rule picked him right out from LSU. Said, nope, I want you as my offensive coordinator. I'm going to bring you into Carolina. And then all of a sudden, you're going to make Teddy Bridgewater a top 10 quarterback. You're going to make Robbie Anderson, DJ Moore, Curtis Samuel look like an amazing offensive trio. And now the Panthers are up and flying without CMC, without some of these dudes. So Joe Brady is basically doing what he did at LSU in the NFL, which it was a similar style. Like it was like you said, pro style offense. He ran that at LSU. He's running it with Teddy Bridgewater. Teddy Bridgewater is playing lights out. Robbie Anderson is playing lights out. DJ Moore is playing lights out. Who's their running back? Mike Davis?
Yeah,
he lights out. Seriously, these guys. And you know what?
There's a power outage over in North Carolina right now, and it's because of the Panthers.
Exactly. Like I said, Joe Brady, come in, fire up this offense. You see he gets creative. I mean, you see everything that he did. Everything he did at LSU. He comes from a background of coaches like Ed Orgeron, who knows what he's doing when it comes to the helm. Ed Orgeron runs a ship in Louisiana. Whether they might not be that good, or like this year they're not that good, but I tell you, that ship is tight. Everyone does what Ed Orgeron says. And you can see it. They did a 60-minute on him. He's like the way he does things is crazy, but it gets things done, and he does it like he does it and gets the most out of everyone. That's something he can learn from. Matt Rule has been an amazing college coach everywhere he's gone. That's where Joe Brady is right now. He's with Matt Rule in Carolina. Like he's learning from great people. He's doing the right things. Joe Brady is who I want the Jets to hire next year. It may be hard to get him out of the whatever contract. I know he got money from Carolina, but we can also give him money.
My pick for the next head coach, originally I was thinking Eric Bieniemy. However, I think he's going to go to the Texans or the Falcons before he goes to the Jets.
I think he'll go to the Texans simply just because of
Deshaun Watson. Yep.
But what gets me about Eric Bieniemy, and I have full respect for Eric Bieniemy, and I really do think he's a good coach. Eric Bieniemy is a direct product of Andy Reid. Eric Bieniemy does not call the plays. Andy Reid calls all the plays for the Kansas City Chiefs. I'm sure, yes, he coordinates. I'm sure he does this. He works with Mahomes. But at the end of the day, Andy Reid is the direct source of the Kansas City Chiefs play calling. And he may be like, oh, he knows what it takes to win, but so does Adam Gase. He was with Peyton Manning that year.
Yeah,
like,
he technically has a Super Bowl title.
He has a Super Bowl, so technically that theory doesn't make sense or doesn't correlate. I don't think. Personally, a lot of people say that. They're like, oh, like Eric Bieniemy, I want Eric Bieniemy. Like every Jet fan in their brother is saying, I want Eric Bieniemy, I want Eric Bieniemy. No. Hold up. Do some research on Eric Bieniemy. He's a good coach. Great coach. He's been around. It doesn't matter. Until I see, like, him physically, like, calling... Like, Andy Reid does everything for that team. Andy Reid always has. That's the way he did in Philadelphia. That's why he does it in Kansas City. So, I mean, those type of dudes I get scared of because they're not the direct dudes. I know for a fact that Joe Brady is calling every single play that goes through Carolina. So that type of stuff I like. I had a couple other head coaches that I had in mind. Obviously, we have Lincoln Riley from Oklahoma, but they kind of stink this year. So I don't know, but he's still a perennial offense. He still knows how to move.
They have a young quarterback too in Spencer Rattler. Yeah.
So that they're gonna figure that out. But the two guys I kind of pinpoint from San Francisco that I might like, which is Mike LaFleur, which is Matt LaFleur's brother. He is the passing game coordinator in San Francisco. This guy has been there for about 3 or 4 years.
I'm guessing the other one's the defense coordinator.
No. No, that's Robert Saleh.
Yeah, I like him.
There's so many good defensive coordinators out there to be head coaches, but we're staying the hell away from there. That's not
our issue.
It's not going to happen. But this guy, Mike McDaniel's the running game coordinator for the 49ers. So LaFleur does the passing and McDaniel does the running. And 49ers offense, first of all, Mike LaFleur gets the most, and I'm going to say more, out of Jimmy Garoppolo and Nick Mullins and whoever else is the quarterback, he gets the most out of them every time. And Mike McDaniels is the running game coordinator for the 49ers, and obviously they run the ball like nobody else in the league.
Yeah.
So, I mean, those are another two names I had. But realistically, right now, I really, really would love Joe Brady to be our next head coach.
Yeah, Joe Brady would be really cool. It'd be hard, though, to match that kind of contract.
It'd be hard, but, I mean, if you're giving this guy full control of a team, I'm sure he'll be like, okay.
Yeah.
I mean, these guys. I mean, everyone respects Sam Darnold and looks at Sam Darnold as that guy that can take the next step. I'm surprised more guys aren't jumping at the fact that they can do that. So we'll see. I mean, we got a long season, and there's going to be a lot more coaches to come out. I hope we do, but I know somebody else is going to give Dan Quinn a shot at defensive coordinator. I'd give that guy all the money in the world to be my defensive coordinator. I mean, not a head coach. I mean. He did take, that Dan Quinn kind of stinks, but...
Imagine bringing in Joe Brady, having him do what he wants at offensive coordinator, and then Dan Quinn at defensive coordinator.
I would, that's picture perfect for me right now. It's going to change. People
are
going to get fired.
We're probably going to hire a concession stand employee that works at MetLife to be the head coach, to be honest.
Should we apply?
I mean, I sent my resume last week, so I'm still waiting to hear back from them. But but I want to bring up a good, interesting point. If Joe Brady, figuratively, becomes the head coach of New York Jets, and he has the number 1 pick, and the Jets are on the clock, Sam Darnold's still on our roster, and he goes Trevor Lawrence.
Well, I think what the thing is I think once...
Because, to be honest, I heard a lot of speculations that Trevor Lawrence would be better off playing another year at Clemson.
I know, but he won't do that.
No, he won't. He wants to make...
He was thinking about just dropping this year and just coming to the NFL, but he won't do that. I mean, it's not... The NFL's not like that anymore, and they're not like, oh... Because Joe Burrow would have freaking sent the Bengals to the moon if that was the truth.
Mm-hmm.
So I really don't think that's not really a prevalent thing anymore. But whoever gets the head coaching job for the New York Jets is gonna know exactly what's gonna be in front of them when the time comes. So they're gonna know. That's why people they're speculating. Oh, if they get Lawrence this and that? It doesn't matter. Like whatever head coach comes in, it doesn't matter. Like everything's going to be set in stone before they even walk in the door. Mm-hmm. So if they have the number 1 overall pick, like in that meeting, the coaching meeting, like Joe Douglas is already kind of in his head, kind of figured out what he wants to do.
Yeah, he's probably going to make a Herschel Walker type trade. He could. Honestly, what he can do is make a Herschel Walker type trade. I know Jaguars... They say Minshew's their quarterback, but I think they'd be tempted. I think they have 2 first-round picks this year again. Mm-hmm. They have their pick and the Rams' pick. They could package those picks.
Or something. Yeah, I don't know. It's going to be very...
And if they did that, Jacksonville's going to have a high pick, too. We can get the receiver.
We have 4 picks in the first round.
4 first-round picks? We haven't had that since we drafted Anthony Beck in the first round.
Yeah. Listen.
I think Chad Pennington was that same class.
Yeah, Chad.
Yeah, wow.
Oh, I miss Chad.
Yeah, me too.
Bring Chad back. I want Chad Pennington and Wayne Corbett back. That's what I want. I want them on my staff. But, I mean, next week, we have this game next week, if Adam Gase comes... I mean, it's probably going to be Joe Flacco. But if Adam Gase comes out and he's falls flat on his face, you're going to see, he may get fired next week.
Yeah.
He may get fired next week.
I say don't.
Don't.
If we have to suffer, he has to suffer too.
That is very much true, and that's the first thing I think of. But at the same time, you're just gonna be hurting. You're gonna be hurting.
You're gonna win. You're gonna win pointless games.
But not even winning pointless games. Say you fire Adam Gase, then what? You promote Greg Williams to head coach, I guess, or you promote Dole Loggins to head coach. Who are you promoting to head coach that is not going to make things worse? And I think either one of those people at the helm would make things worse. I mean, let Adam Gase just keep getting the beating this year. Get the beating, whatever. You can fire him without any strings attached. No one's gonna forget. Yeah. Oh, you only gave him 2 years. No, there's none of that. He stunk, and everyone in the league knows he stunk. He's gone after the season. That's what I think they should do it as. And you're gonna see like next week is gonna be pretty atrocious, I think.
Oh yeah, I think for a fact it's going to be atrocious. But I mean, hey, all we can do is wait and see. And it'd be a good thing to mention that on our Twitter after this episode, we're going to have a poll for you guys to decide who you like better as the next Jets head coach. My candidate is Dan Mullen out of Florida, and of course Tyler is going with Joe Brady, the offensive coordinator for the Panthers. So make sure to go check out our Twitter and leave a vote. We're not going to tell you. We're just going to have our names up there. We're not going to have the coaches up there. So anything you want to add to?
No, just, our handle is at @3_very_long. Go hit us up. Please DM us, anything. We'd love to hear from you guys. But, hey, listen, toughen up, guys. I know we're all Jets fans. It's tough, but keep on going. We have some hope in Becton. That's something that we really haven't had in a while. Like I look for I'm a pretty positive person. I look for positives, and Becton's already graded high on the rookie list. Like that's something to build on. I mean, as much as these guys, we know that the players in our young players, our young core, like Marcus May and Becton and stuff, guys like that, like they're here to play and they like New York and want to play in New York. So that's a good positive. Now you just need to get the right guys around them. So
yeah.
But we'll see. I mean, we got some weeks coming up. We got some not so tough opponents, but some tough, some not. Let's see how they fight back, man. Less penalties, more red zone production, right?
Yeah, I guess if the Jets imagine if the Jets are able to pull together like a wild card appearance after going 0-5.
They're not gonna. Don't even get your hopes up.
Yeah, I know. I have a better chance shaking hands with Jesus Christ after this. All right, and that wraps up, I guess, today's episode of Third and Very Long. Thank you guys for tuning in. Again, make sure to check out our poll on Twitter to see who has a better candidate in mind for the vacancy that we're predicting.
It's a pretty predictable vacancy, and I think Joe Brady's going to win that one. All right, guys. Thank you.